How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video we're going to be talking about the Gameweek 35 plus team selection, as well as taking a look at how the squad got on in Gameweek 34. The season's kind of coming to an end, sadly or gladly, for those of you who haven't had the best of seasons. For our team overall, it's been quite a good season. I'm kind of hoping that these last couple of game weeks are really advantageous to our overall rank and we can get as high as possible. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So the deadline with Dayvy live stream for deadline of the game week 25 is not going to be happening, unfortunately. I'm actually writing my final exam for the semester at the time of the deadline. So no, I'm not going to be skipping my exam for FPL. Unfortunately, this is one of those things that just comes as more of a priority than FPL at the moment. It's not too bad for my overall squad. There's not many fixtures of those two fixtures starting that I own players from. So not too many lineups that I'm going to be waiting for. A little bit disappointing as I do think the deadline on Dayvy streams have been really great recently and you guys have been showing great support in those, so thank you for that. But unfortunately this week we're just gonna have to give it a skip. However, after that I'm gonna be done with the semester so we can get all that juicy FPL content as much as we can between now and that end of the season. So thanks again for all your support. So game week 34, I am recording this video before the fixtures that are happening tonight. The likes of Man United still have to play. A lot of players own those players as well as have captains playing tonight. So the rank could see a deficit, but however in the top 10k I do think most captains have played. I think about 75% of captains have played and we currently have one more player than the average players remaining. So I do think our rank will stay around this 5k mark. Currently we're at 4.6k, kind of weirdly right on that 4.6k mark, and don't usually see that, but really happy to be there. Obviously we'll be talking about the transfers and if those did pay up in the upcoming squad review, but currently really happy. 49 points above the average in the top 10k, probably a little bit higher, but as I said, we still have some players to play tonight, so the rank might change, but I will update you on that over on Twitter since there's no deadline with Dayvy livestream. So the squad in game week 34 did relatively well. I think the defense was kind of our downfall this week. Martinez didn't keep a clean sheet, couldn't make it 4 in a row, but I'm perfectly fine with that. We kind of always thought that Leicester was going to be a tough fixture for them. It is a little bit unlucky, however, as Leicester managed to pick up a late equalizer after Arsenal went down to 10 men. So I was almost expecting a clean sheet in those final 10 minutes from Martinez, but you know what happens in FPL, when you expect something, it never really happens. But I'm not too worried about him. Managed to pick up an extra save point for the team and every single point counts at this stage. Alexander-Arnold and Doherty only with 2 points. With Alexander-Arnold, I thought Liverpool were a little bit shaky against Brighton, but I think that was credit to how well Brighton were playing, but they managed to get a goal there. They could have even got 2, so I think I'll take 1 goal and not that -1 point from him. But Alexander-Arnold didn't have the best game against Brighton, and there is kind of talk of some rotation happening there. Obviously we had Williams come in for Robertson, but that's not his favored side, so I do think Williams will start in a couple of upcoming games instead of Alexander-Arnold, or maybe Alexander-Arnold will be given that 60 minutes and then Williams will come on in his place. Doherty with 2 points. Wolves also conceded a very late goal to Sheffield United. I said in the kind of team selection for this game week that Wolves haven't really been playing that well, been sneaking a couple 1-0 victories and also had that loss against Arsenal, but I did think when it gets to that late stage in the game, you might as well just hold on for that clean sheet. Easier said than done, however, and Wolves managed to concede, I think it was to Sheffield United's Egan. Serge Aurier still has to play tonight. Bournemouth, very attacking side, so maybe Aurier can get an attacking return in this one, because I do think Bournemouth have to go all out in this fixture, and I do expect them to score at least 1 goal, but hopefully, as I said, Aurier can at least get some points, as he is a little bit of a differential in the top 10k. The midfield was stacked though, and I'm expecting that trend to continue with Fernandes and Martial still to play tonight. Aston Villa have been better defensively than they have in the previous games of the season, but I do think with Man United's red hot form, they're definitely going to win in this one and score a couple goals. Mahrez was the transfer in this week. We actually took a -4 hit. Greenwood in for the likes of Rashford, and then we upgraded Davis from Aston Villa to Mahrez. So Mahrez managed to return that hit. It's yet to be seen tonight if Greenwood is going to keep up with Rashford, or even better his score, if Greenwood keeps on par with Rashford, I do think it was worth the -4 hit, especially because of those lovely Man City fixtures coming up. With the Man City assets, you basically just have to choose one and hope for the best. The best example this week was the likes of Sterling. I told you about that merit to having a player actually benched at the start and coming on for the final 30 minutes, as those players are usually quite tired and a fresh-legged player can usually get some returns, and that's exactly what happened with Sterling. So with Mahrez, even if he is benched, it's not the end of the world. With those lovely upcoming fixtures, Mahrez is definitely going to be getting some FPL points. Then the man of the match for my squad, and for most of your squads probably, Mo Salah with a lovely 18 points. 2 goals and 1 assist if I am correct. I could have even gotten a third goal there right at the death. Had a lovely free header, but he managed to sky it. So I think he was relatively annoyed with himself, as you saw in that post-match kind of interview. But Mo Salah, definitely happy that I hold on to him. I know there's a little bit of hindsight now because I did hold on to him, but in the Deadline with Dayvy livestream, I spoke about how I didn't want to get rid of Salah, as he can always go on and bang a couple goals, and we've seen him kind of equal De Bruyne's top score total for the season. So yet again, Mo Salah is proving to be one of the best FPL options in our squads. De Bruyne only with that 7 points, but it was better than last game week's captain of Salah. I think Salah only got 6, so I really welcome that 14 points. With De Bruyne, it was kind of a safe option to go for. If you saw his effective ownership in that top 10k was about 160%, so I went for him as the safe option, and at least he did return an assist. I did think that he could have done a lot better, and I think he might have been a little bit unlucky not to get a better return, as De Bruyne and Man City kind of went and smashed Newcastle. But overall, happy that I captained him, and the other captaincy options I could have gone for maybe Salah, but I was a little bit worried about his form, or maybe the Man United assets, and those are going to come tonight, and we're going to see if we rue that captaincy decision. I spoke about Fernandes and Martial, and then also Greenwood. If he scores more or on par with Rashford, I think the transfers this week can be considered a success, but as I said, that's yet to be seen. Then we have Raul Jimenez. I spoke about Doherty. Wolves didn't really play well, and Jimenez seemed to be in quite bad form, not getting a lot of shots on target, and as a forward, that's probably the really worrying stat that you want to look at when you're looking at an FPL option. On the bench, nothing much to talk about. Saiss, happy that I did manage to bench him. It's going to be seen if maybe if Aurier can get more points than Saiss, then that'll be a good decision, otherwise it's not. And then Connolly, only with a 1-point appearance, came on quite late against Liverpool, but he did look quite lively. And then Lascelles, obviously getting smashed by Man City, he's on 0 points. But let's get on and look at the transfers we're considering for this week. So if you guys do follow me on Twitter, at Dayvy FPL, I actually confirmed this transfer last night. The reason being, Raul Jimenez was dropping in price, and Vardy looks to be getting a price rise quite soon. So I had to make the move. Also wanted to make the move for those of you who don't have the exact team value that I do, so then it gives you a little bit of breathing room to make this move. But we made the move of Raul Jimenez to Vardy. Main reason being, Vardy is playing against Bournemouth. You can call me a fixture chaser, but this upcoming game week doesn't have that many standout captaincy options, as you'll see in the team selection. And I think with Vardy going for that golden boot, he's currently leading by 2 goals, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be wanting to keep that record and go for that golden boot, so that's why he's come in. Also, Raul Jimenez has seen a drop in form and is not looking as good as maybe Vardy, who is in a little bit of form, had a couple of goals since the restart, but definitely not the best form of his life, but I'm willing to take that risk. At the bottom of the screen there, I also posted what my transfer thought for 2 game weeks coming is. A game week 36 is going to probably see the likes of Vardy out. I spoke about him having that Bournemouth fixture, but then afterwards doesn't have the best fixtures in the world. So Vardy is probably going to be on the way out for one of Jesus or Danny Ings. Jesus has Bournemouth in game week 36, and then Danny Ings also has Bournemouth, I think, in game week afterwards. But those two are looking like really good options, and both of them seem to be in a little bit of form, at least better than the likes of Jamie Vardy. And with easier fixtures, that's kind of a no-brainer. So this is kind of the transfer plan I would go for. A lot of you guys have asked me, if you can't afford Jamie Vardy, who should you be looking at? My suggestion would be to either hold Raul Jimenez, maybe look at the likes of Greenwood if you can, or just go straight to Danny Ings. Now, Raul Jimenez does have a fixture that's a little bit favorable in the upcoming game week. Less favorable than Vardy, but still doable. So you could just hold on to him and then make that Danny Ings transfer next game week, or you could just go straight to Danny Ings. I don't think if you can't afford Vardy, you're not going to be able to afford Jesus, so that's a little bit unlucky. But let's get on and look at the team selection. So I'll be talking about the team a little bit briefly, as I know a lot of you guys just generally look at the squad, look who's the captain, and then move on. But starting off in goal, Martinez, don't expect a clean sheet from him. We actually have Martinez playing against Aurier, so hopefully that might be a 0-0. That'll be the best result for the squad, but I'm not expecting too many points there. We have Doherty and Alexander-Arnold with home fixtures against Burnley and Everton. Now Everton have shown a little bit of resurgence in form recently, and Wolves haven't. They've done the polar opposite, so I think that this might be a tough game for Doherty, but with his attacking threat there might be a little bit of hope there for an attacking return. And then Alexander-Arnold, there's been rumors of him being benched this week, but it's just one of those things where we just got to play him. If he doesn't play, hopefully he doesn't get 90 minutes and then we just get another defender off the bench, but if he does play, I still think that he could get some attacking returns against Burnley, who are usually quite defensive. In the midfield, we've got an absolutely stacked midfield this week. Mahrez and De Bruyne against Brighton, and we saw Liverpool score 3 past them, so I wonder how many high-flying Man City will score against them, but those two are definitely good options. I spoke about even if they bench, they still have a good chance of some point returns, so I'm not too worried about that. Salah, there is rumor of him being benched as well, so that could be something that we look at, but I'm willing to kind of just take the risk and play him right now. And then Fernandes and Martial have a nice fixture against Southampton. Now it's going to be a question of what Southampton team is going to pitch up for that game. Is it going to be the likes of the Man City Southampton that went on and won that game, or is it going to be the likes of a Southampton that conceded a lot of goals? So that's yet to be seen, but I'm pretty happy with that Man United triple up of Fernandes, Martial and Greenwood. And then finally we do have our captain for this game week, Jamie Vardy. A nice little differential punt this week. Last time I checked, I think he's owned by 10% of the top 10k, so that's going to be quite a good percentage to have. Probably most owners are going to captain him, so we're probably going to be looking at about a 10%, 15% captaincy for Jamie Vardy. Now I did say it is a differential because most people will probably go for the likes of Fernandes, maybe De Bruyne or Salah, so I'm perfectly happy with taking a little bit of a risk this late in the season, and hopefully it does pay off. On the bench we have Saiss, Connolly and Lascelles. Now Lascelles could feature in the squad if I think the likes of Aurier might be conceding, as he does have Watford, and that game could be quite a boring one, and I could be hoping for a Newcastle clean sheet, but I'm pretty happy with how the squad is set overall. So this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like it if you did, and subscribe if you're new or have not subscribed yet. As I said, following me on Twitter is quite helpful, as I usually post my confirmed teams. I will also be confirming the final team for Gameweek 35, including captaincy, over on my Twitter, as there won't be a Deadline with Dayvy live stream this week. I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.